Batman's just cool.
Batman's just
I
cool.
was just gonna say that Batman's just cool as fuck. Like,
Batman's
that's it.
just cool.
Sometimes you gotta talk about Batman.
One thing I did want to add, though, is I wanted to talk a little bit about the Batman. I wanted to talk about
Yes.
the new one. I wanted to talk about, was it 2022 they came out?
Yes.
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 I did want to talk about that interpretation of Batman for a little bit. Mainly the feeling that he needs to be Batman, that anger within him, that he finds the criminals of Gotham to be scum, that he's repulsed by them. I think that's such a strong factor of the film. There's so much to the film. I've only seen it once, and I remember so much. It's ridiculous. That movie is legit peak Batman. It's ridiculous. So go ahead, talk to me about that for a little bit.
So the Batman is the one movie that I think highlights a lot of the flaws of the character. You know, Batman tries his best to be the savior of Gotham, but it's clear that, especially in this version, you know, year 2 younger Batman is going about it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this version of Batman doesn't believe in rehabilitating the criminals. He wants to punish them for the things they've done wrong. He doesn't care about helping them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, this version of Batman needing to feel like, you know, like he needs to be Batman. It's just a common trait with the character, especially in that time in his career, year 2. That's really early on still for Batman. I mean, Robert Pattinson Batman didn't even know about, you know, the mob and their corruption and how they bleed in through, you know, Gotham's politics and the police force and everything.
A lot of people saw year 2 Batman and they didn't really get the message. So they were saying like, "Oh, this Batman is so ineffective. Oh, what a joke. This Batman, he's nowhere nearly as refined as the Nolan or the original." But yeah, because it's his second fucking year. Give him time to cook. You know? Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, I like to think personally that in the Nolan movies, in Batman Begins, that there was a significant time jump.
Yeah,
personally, that's what I like to see, because, you know, we see him training and like before he even has the bat suit and everything, we see him, and then by the end of the movie, or he's already Batman. He already, you know, is the character. He is the embodiment of his morals and his perspective. So I like to think that there was, you know, maybe a year or two that we didn't see in Batman Begins. I mean, a lot of shit happens.
There's
in
a big jump. There's a big
movie.
jump. Dark Knight is definitely prime Batman, like prime physically, prime everything, prime Batman.
And then so like you get to the Batman with Robert Pattinson, and it's kind of like
his early years.
Like, yeah, you take like 10 minutes of Batman Begins and stretch it out into 3 hours, and that's the Batman.
Yeah, dude, I love that approach where first of all, people were always talking about this story when the movie came out initially, but I'm going to bring it up. Batman is in his suit for most of the film, and that is peak for me. And one of the reasons why I liked that so much is because they were doing the slower burn about the whole, ¿cómo se dice, the murder mystery, him actually being a detective. And while they had flashes of that in the Nolan trilogy, they really leaned into this, and it made it. They were going into the detective narrative so much that it felt like I was watching Seven all over again. It was just, you know what I mean? It was great. And some of the setup, it was so fucking wonderfully done. For example, we'll get to your point. Well, you're good. The moment that I think was so well constructed for me was that car bomb scene in the middle of, I think was it City Hall, or was it something big, like a big courtroom? Whatever it was, there was a part where like there was a hostage and there was a bomb, and I remember that tension I felt watching that scene.
It was the funeral for, I believe, the police commissioner, or no, it was the mayor's funeral.
Yeah.
So Riddler basically kidnaps the DA earlier in the movie, and he, you know, puts tape around his mouth, and he puts a bomb around, straps it to one of his wrists. And then he tapes a note to Batman on his chest. And then so he basically forces the DA to drive his car into the building where they're holding the funeral for the mayor. And, you know, it's the mayor, so obviously, like, all the important people in Gotham are there.
Yeah.
There's a shit ton of people there. And so, you know, they evacuate the place. And so the DA is just kind of sitting there, and the SWAT is sitting outside because they don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, you know, what do you do?
Yeah,
there's a message to Batman
there
on his chest. Yeah, there's a message to Batman on his chest, and so they don't know what the fuck to do. So, of course, you know, Batman being the lawbreaker that he is,
just goes in
breaks
there.
into the crime scene.
Yeah.
And he approaches him, and so he reads the letter, and of course it's a riddle and another clue, for this whole mystery that's happening. And then a part of the message tells Batman to pick up the phone. So the bomb is also like attached to a phone, where Batman starts FaceTiming Riddler, and that's kind of what that whole scene is. And it's really what that scene really is that Batman is trying to get more information on the Riddler, but he's not really kind of paying attention to what Riddler is saying, and that
he doesn't understand how Riddler ticks yet. He doesn't understand that every single word that Riddler says has a meaning behind it. And not only a meaning for the long term, but also a meaning for the immediate term. Like, what I'm saying right now is going to help you with that fucking bomb, dude.
So the entire movie, Riddler is feeding Batman information and clues and riddles to basically exposing the corruption of Gotham. But it's almost like Batman doesn't want to believe it because, he's just so blind with rage that, Riddler's this serial killer and he's doing all these things, and that he's not really understanding what Riddler's trying to say. And so
he wasn't the world's greatest detective yet. Continue.
And so the big thing with this scene is that, Riddler's playing a game with the DA, and, the DA solves 3 riddles and the bomb will be diffused around his neck, and there's a timer for, I believe, 1 minute or something. And so he feeds him 3 riddles, and all the answers to the riddles are basically important shit that has to deal with the corruption in Gotham and kind of exposing the DA for the shit that he's done. And so Batman is just kind of forced to watch as, the DA plays this game. And even, like, Batman knows the riddles because, I mean, he's smart.
He's Batman.
He knows the answers to the riddles, but he doesn't know what the answers mean yet. And then you get to the last riddle, and the DA, I forget what the question is, but the DA is like, I can't answer that one. And it's just, it's about Falcone.
Right.
So the DA is like, I can't answer that.
He can't incriminate himself. Yeah.
Yeah, so Batman's just yelling at him, like, to say it. It's like, if I tell you, they're going to kill me, and, all these different things. And then the timer runs out, and the guy explodes right in Batman's face.
Oh, yeah.
Pause.
Pause. Yeah. Dude really did explode. That's wild.
So, that whole scene is cinema, really. And, of course, all the police blame Batman for...
Right, because they don't know. Dying. They weren't in there, right? And the biggest thing for that scene for me was that it was pretty much just telling you, it's like, Batman cannot save them all. No matter what he does, it was that guy's decision to die that night. Very simple. He'd rather
chose
die
to blow up rather than incriminate himself.
Than reveal what he did, because he understands that it's not only him that's going to die, it's that the mob will go after his family and kill them in a brutal way to set an example to never snitch on them. So he was thinking of his family. It wasn't a stupid decision. And he understands that if he breaks it down, oh, fuck. So...
And in Batman Begins, Batman takes down Falcone in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
In this movie...
Big difference.
They really, I love how well they establish Falcone's presence in Gotham, and that it's just, if I talk, he's gonna kill me. People are scared shitless of Falcone.
I think mainly because nobody knows who Batman is. They don't understand that Batman will do worse than Falcone initially. Like, that's what they think, right? Is that, Batman's afraid, he's scary, all the rumor mills. They hadn't started rumor milling yet. It was just little tidbits. Like the people didn't really know who Batman was. Go ahead.
And the people, you had thugs that, did believe in Batman and were scared shitless for their life.
Right.
But then you also have people that he's just a dude in a back.
He wasn't established. He wasn't established yet.
Like the scene when he's trying to get into Penguin's nightclub and he has the twin bodyguards, and then it's just like one of them. He sees Batman, and then it's just like, I'm here to see the Penguin, and then he like closes the door on Batman, and and then they both come. He opens the door, and they both come out, and the guy says like, "Yeah, you better get out of here, Bat Freak, or that fancy suit of yours is gonna get all filled with blood." And so I was like, "Damn, they just want to kick his ass." They're not letting him into this club because who the fuck is this guy?
They don't know him. If they knew he was Batman, they'd open that bitch up real quick. You kidding me? Yeah, they just don't. They don't understand. They know it's Batman, but I'm saying they don't know like who the Batman really is. They don't know that.
They don't know what he's capable of.
Exactly. You get it. They don't understand that he can take down a room full of 20 guys that are armed to the teeth like it's nothing. They just don't understand that.
That's pretty much what he did as soon as he got in the nightclub too. He just beat the shit out of everybody.
It really is that simple. simple. He has to make a name for himself, and the only way he does that is through fucking fisticuffs. Because criminals don't listen to words. They never did.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. So you got to show him that you're not to be fucked with. You can aim a gun at him. You can have 20 guys. It don't matter. He'll take them all down quick, and you won't even know what happened till it's over. It's like, damn, he really did break my arm in 7 places. That's wild. You know?
Yeah. Like, this version of Batman embodies Batman so well.
Oh, yeah.
But he's also... I love how inexperienced he is, too. I mean, you know, we talked about it, that he doesn't really care for criminals, too. But also, you know, going back to that nightclub scene, he just walks in.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Doesn't use
like,
an alternate exit. He doesn't go through the vents. He doesn't come in through the ceiling, right? Like, like all other Batman, he would find a different way to be as least invasive as possible. Here, he has a chip on his shoulder. He just wants to be, wants, give me a reason, right? That's what it is. Give me a reason to go off. That's what that was. That's why he went through the front door. Very simple. Yeah.
And I mean, it's a nice callback, too, because I feel like that scene is purposely a reference to The Dark Knight when Batman goes into the club looking for Maroni. And he's just beating the shit out of all the thugs. I feel like that's what that scene is directly calling back to.
I love that scene so much. I'm being honest.
At least with Christian Bale's Batman, he took him outside. Like, he took Maroni outside to interrogate him. He didn't do it in the club when you can't hear shit with blasting music. Meanwhile, Robert Pattinson Batman has to have an official meeting in Penguin's office. Like, it's like, come on, dude.
Bro. Como se... I just love, I also love Penguin's portrayal here by Colin Farrell. I know the movie's coming out. That'd be sick. I want to see that.
The show?
Oh, it's a show. My bad. I want to see that.
Yeah, it's a show. And so far, early reactions are saying it feels a lot like The Sopranos. It's a very mafia, mob-focused show.
Yeah, I saw that. When I saw the trailer, I'm like, this is it. No way. Then I watched The Sopranos. No, that's why I watched The Sopranos, because I never finished it. Then I watched the fucking trailer. I'm like, I gotta watch this shit, don't I? Okay. That's it.
They're making The Sopranos in the Batman universe.
That's okay.
Pretty much with the Penguin.
Do it. Please. The Batman universe is so ripe. You can literally make almost all of these villains or something to write home about. Like, imagine a detective drama with Zaz. I want to see that.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. So there's a lot there, because the universe of Batman takes so many like pieces from other pieces of art and throws it into their universe, and it's so well crafted. It's just, you know what I mean? There's so much there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said earlier. Watching the Batman felt like you were watching Seven.
Yeah, literally
they took what they could from like crime movies and just put it in their movie.
Beautiful. And it was so well crafted. Yeah. I mean, the cinematography, I remember, was a really big one for me, especially some of those final shots when he pulled up the flare, when he's looking up at the helicopter. Yeah. Like, there's so many fucking just cherries on top of this massive cake. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like one thing people overlook with the movie is the music. The music does so much for the atmosphere of the movie.
Let me tell you,
it's insane.
Initially, I disagreed with the use of Something in the Way, Nirvana, and then I watched it, and because I love Nirvana. Don't get me wrong, but it's something about it's something about like Nirvana being used in a trailer felt cheap for me. It's like, oh, they're just using an established. They used like an established
and it was
song.
a remixed version.
Yeah. So I was thinking, it's like, man, okay, whatever. This seems a little edgy. Then I watched it, and then the music came on. I was like, that shit fits. It fits.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I didn't expect
and they
it to
used
work.
It twice.
Yeah, they did.
Once at the beginning, once at the end.
Just like how The Boys did season 4 finale. It's like, oh my god, they actually used Heart-Shaped Box in a good way? No fucking shot, It was crazy.
Yeah.
No, just the Batman movie it's cinema. And I really need to watch it again because I remember so much of it, and I've only seen it the one time in theaters. Well, Dorian's seen it like fucking back-to-back 25 times.
I've seen it a lot. More than I'd like to admit.
No, you gotta admit this little tidbit. You watched it once back-to-back. You gotta admit that. Oh, no.
For sure, yes. And was it you that I had the conversation with that like I can't go back? Yeah, it was with you before we saw Longlegs. I can't watch a movie back to back.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I can't restart a movie after finishing.
I brought that up. Yeah,
what movie? The Batman.
Yeah. Fuck it up. Yeah, that was hard it's hard for me to restart, like to watch a film and then watch it again. You got to give it some grace period to let it dissolve. And then you said Batman. I'm like, fuck, you right. My bad. Yeah. That's the exception.
And it's crazy because I saw it 8 times in theaters. I didn't hit double digits.
Hold on, guys. He works at a theater. He probably would have only seen it 4 times if he had to pay for it. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. He got it.
Yeah.
But what I loved is that, and this is what I love about rewatching movies. I know there are people that don't like rewatching movies because it's like, oh, it's the same story. It's not gonna be any different. But when you rewatch a movie, you can appreciate so many different details about it.
Yeah, especially in like a crime drama or like when there's a big twist at the end, you feel every fucking clue. It hits so much more now that you see what they were leading into, you know? The greatest films have that.
So it's like watching the Batman, you know, the first time you're just trying to take everything in.
And it's
kind of overwhelming.
There's a lot.
The 3-hour crime epic. There's a lot of shit going down, a lot of clues, a lot of hints, all this kind of stuff. And then, you know, of course, the Batman's arc is so prominent in the movie.
Yes.
And then you rewatch it, and then, you know, you start, you know, looking a bit more at, like, you know, the Riddler's clues and stuff, and it's like, oh, they're foreshadowing something. Oh, I can see that this is now leading into, you know, exposing this character, that kind of thing. Or I can see why Riddler picked this as his victim, that kind of thing.
Once you see it for the 10th time, you really start to realize that something is indeed in the way.
Exactly. Exactly.
He gets it, this guy.
It got to a point where it's like, you know, watching it for the 7th time in theaters, I'm just there to appreciate the music. I'm there to appreciate the cinematography. I'm there to appreciate the performances from all the different actors.
Different experience.
All these different kinds of things, yeah.
You know,
the first few watches, I'm finding new things, but the more I watch it, the more I'm appreciating different aspects about the movie.
You know one thing I didn't expect to appreciate? Zoe Kravitz playing Selena Kyle. I did not think I was going to like that. Like I thought like first of all, I like Anne Hathaway's interpretation, but my favorite has always been the Arkham trilogy, right? And I was thinking, it's like, yeah, I don't know if she fits the profile, to be honest. I don't know. And then I watched Batman. I'm like, yeah, that's Selena Kyle. My bad. I didn't mean it. And the fact that
I feel like that happens a lot with that movie.
Yeah, right. Tell me about. Is it Maroni or Falcone, the main guy that gets like arrested at the end?
Falcone.
Yeah, Falcone.
Maroni's not in this movie, but he's in the Penguin show.
My bad. So Falcone, the fact that that she's Falcone's daughter, like, really sold it even more for me. You know what I mean? Like, I just peak. I can't say that enough. Just peak. I really gotta see it again.
Everyone in the movie had a part to play.
Yes,
and they played it to perfection. Every character felt important, and that's what I think really sells the movie. And you know, everyone represents different parts of Gotham. You know, Selena, she's a cat thief. She's broke. You know, she lives in a rundown apartment in the slums. You got Riddler, who, you know, he's the same way, but he's trying to fight for the poor, but he's going about it the wrong way. He's
very
inspired by Batman.
Yes.
And then you have Batman, who's rich and famous, but he chooses to be a recluse, and he chooses to go out at night, you know, beating the shit out of people.
I can't imagine.
Falcone,
I can't imagine. I can't imagine the amount that Batman blames himself for, like, people saying, like, villains saying that they're directly inspired by him. Holy shit, that means a lot. You know what I mean? Ugh. And he overcame that at the end, but that's a crazy thing to think. He's like, damn, I inspired that.
Yeah, that realization at the end must have hit him like a truck when the Riddler goon says, "I'm vengeance." Dude, it's like, oh my God, they just turned his words against him.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Your logic, out of here. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah. So it's you know, that's so important to Batman's arc in that movie. And that to me, that's why it's the best live action version of the character, because he has to learn what it means to be Batman. I feel like the other ones don't really have that.
I can say it. I can say from like a... I can say right now that like the Batman, I expected it to be like kind of a clone of the previous ones, right? With just like a new cast, like a remake, right? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And when I went in there and I saw, when you were telling me about the movie, I was like, this is not what I expected at all. Like I had, like, once again, I will say this. I am sorry that I doubted this film so much. I saw the casting of Robert Pattinson, and I'm like, okay, the Twilight guy, because I wasn't inclined yet. It was it was a Twilight guy. Okay, who cares? Selena Kyle, Zoe Kravitz, sure, I guess. I wasn't wowed yet by anything. And then when I hear your reaction to it, I'm like, no fucking way. Maybe he's just Batmaning out. Maybe he's just fanboying. I'll watch it with you because you're the homie. But I'm just saying, it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be, because maybe he hasn't seen these certain movies. Like, for example, did we see Seven yet? Before you watched that film?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Because I saw it in film school in 2020. The Batman was 2 years later.
Fair. Okay. But I didn't know that. That's fair. I didn't know that. I don't think so. But I know that, like, okay, maybe the movie's just ripping off some older films that he hasn't seen yet, and I gotta, like, educate him or some shit, because I had to do that with other people. It's kind of ridiculous. They get like a 4 they watch like a 4 out of 10 movie that's got like a decent premise, but then I show them the actual original movie that used that premise. It's like, yeah, this is so much better. It just happens like that.
I think you told me about that. It was like with like a Netflix movie or something. Like someone was like, "Oh, this movie's great," and then you watched it and you were like,
"I don't even remember it. I don't even remember what the movie was called. Don't worry, it's not worth mentioning." But it was like the most ugliest reveal of all time. It's like, how many movies I've seen do this shit? But that's my thing. Is a lot of people just aren't movie inclined, and that's fine. You don't have to be. I'm just saying that, like, going into it is like, I can probably show you a better experience, dude. The Batman pulled off what it was trying to do 100%. Oh my god. And they were pulling in new versions, and they were really leaning into the detective side of Batman and that young rage of Batman. It was such a breath of fresh air, because when I was watching the film, I'm like, these guys actually care. I'm not watching the film and thinking, it's like, oh, there's the product placement. Oh, there's the part where they're going to use the merch. Oh, there's the political message. It's like, no, this film is genuinely crafted to be a cinematic experience that just pays homage to the original character, along with crime dramas like Seven. It felt like an homage, not a ripoff. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So.
And it's crazy how many people were turned off by the movie as well. Like, I've seen people say it's too long, and it's.
They were expecting something else, like Furiosa. They were expecting a ding-to-ding action instead of thinking about the film for what it is. And that's the same thing with this film. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I get it, because, when you hear Batman, right, you're thinking superhero. You think about a movie like The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is a crime thriller, but has a lot of action. And it's defined a lot of what the character is now. And so when you go into it and it's a slow 3-hour, like, really detective focused,
it's a slow burn
movie.
It's a slow burn,
and there is action, but it's not the focus, and there's not a lot of it. But
people went into it thinking me too. I think people went into it thinking something else.
People wanted like explosions and Batman saving the day and getting the girl, and it's not that kind of movie.
And there's also a genuine amount of general audiences that literally don't give a shit about a film that talks for 3 hours. Like a film that it's like, oh, it's got a great story, it's got great storyline, all that, but like they need something to grab them. That's why Hollywood blockbusters do so fucking good, because they dumb it down. You know what I mean? It is what it is. They don't allow the tension to build and have like a memorable experience that you'll remember forever. A lot of Hollywood blockbusters just do the now enjoyment. Yeah, I had fun with it. It was cool, and then you don't remember what happened a week later. That's the kind of films that can really sell. So I see why a lot of studios don't like to take these kinds of risk. And to be honest, I can't imagine what the pitch was for this film. Holy shit. The fact that this film was made is a miracle. It was risky, bro. Because don't get me wrong, it's Batman, you're gonna make money, but then you're thinking, okay, but what will this do for us in the future? Like, can we really build a universe around this Batman? And thankfully, this film succeeded. I think Joker definitely had a hand in that. After seeing
for sure.
Was it 2019 Joker came out? Yeah. After Joker 2019, people really wanted that more mature take on the characters, and Batman was a byproduct of that. I think that's how the pitch went. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And this is just like another small detail that I just want to appreciate about the Batman, but also. More specifically, this comes from the Christopher Nolan movies, is that the Batman feels really dark and violent and gritty, but it's PG-13.
Yeah.
Because, when you think about it, you're like, damn, that movie was dark and it was violent. And then you go back and watch it again, you're like, oh, you don't really see any blood.
Right.
You don't really see any people
because you don't
die.
need to.
I
feel like that was the compromise too. It's like we'll do the slow burn, but make sure it's PG-13. No matter what, make sure it's PG-13. And I don't even think it was from judging from what I was seeing, they were definitely lenient with that PG-13 rating, but it did work. It did work, so it's all good, baby. That's it.
Yeah, the most violence you get in the Batman is you see someone get shot with a sniper, like straight in the chest.
Yeah,
that's it, really. That's the most blood that's in the movie. Batman beats the shit out of people, but you don't see the blood.
Right, so it's okay.
So
so it's okay.